anything that would lead to impeding or endangering this investigation is not going to be said, okay? And we will, as information unfolds, this is a very fluid process. And remember something, too. We're doing two things. We're hunting some bad people down, and we're securing the city, too. We're getting ready for a Sugar Bowl tomorrow.
And that Sugar Bowl is now delayed. It's going to be canceled for this evening, and they've been postponing it to tomorrow, just to make sure everything is ultimately safe. They do believe that the area has been cleared, Jonathan. They didn't indicate that they believe that there is any further threat, but they have indicated that there are going to be more suspects that were involved in this plot to kill as many people as they possibly could. And speaking of, we have Dan Linskey, a former Boston superintendent-in-chief of police who worked in Boston at the time where they suffered a horrific mass casualty, murder, bomb, terrorist threat there and terror attack, and he joins me now. What about this incident in New Orleans brings you back to that horrible day in Boston?
All of it. The people having a great time in America, celebrating a great event, great holiday, and having that day turned into a nightmare. Horrific injuries and heroic actions by law enforcement. So it seems like a repeat exactly. Our event was Islamic terrorism that involved IEDs. This event is that as well. And it's they've got an investigation to do. They've got a scene to secure, and they've got a city to make safe while hunting fugitives. So it takes me back to exactly where I was in my own command post in that week in April.
And Dan, in that situation, turned out there were two suspects involved. The indications we're getting, it seems, from local and federal officials in this one is that it is maybe more than that. They've talked about several. The FBI special agent in charge, Alethea Duncan, talked about, quote, a range of suspects. How much exponentially more difficult does it become as the numbers of suspects increases?
The number of suspects make it harder to keep events safe, right? So everyone wanted to have this be one and done with a lone wolf, and that was over with. They developed information that wasn't the case, and they potentially now have members of a terrorist cell operational in the New Orleans area, in the U.S. area, that they have to identify, locate, and stop before another attack can occur. They assessed the threat level and looked at, a large-scale event tonight at the Sugar Bowl and said, we can't safely secure it. Even if you can secure the outer perimeter, putting that many people in one area, when you've got potentially terrorists who are armed with firearms, have access to IEDs, and if they're deceased, have military training, that would not be the right thing to do for the citizens in New Orleans. So I think a good decision was made to postpone it. And they're going to work and try and track these individuals down as quickly as possible. Just like our event, they're looking for the public's help in identifying individuals who might be associated here. It appears they might have had some information that's developed that there might have been a red flag or two beforehand, and trying to pull those threads and see exactly where these people are today and exactly what their involvement is key. It also could be that we saw in the Chelsea bombing attack, they were looking for 3 individuals who handled the IED, and they were actually people who took the bag that it was in and left the IED in the dumpster without knowing any better. So we have to figure it out, but it seems pretty clear the FBI is concerned there are additional participants in here in taking that action.
This is obviously a federal investigation. The FBI is involved and terrorism is suspected. But how hard is it for local authorities? Because this at first became a local authority, local police in New Orleans job to investigate what the initial cause was of this horrific massacre that happened. And how do you identify these sleeper cells? We know that there are sleeper cells, terrorist sleeper cells in this country. And no matter how many cameras you have on the streets, I mean, this person had to have known that these barricades barricades were under construction, that they were being worked on. This person had to have been surveying that area, or someone was surveying the area for quite some time. They knew that they would be able to get a vehicle down that road and go onto the sidewalks, despite the fact that there was heavy police presence there and vehicles. How hard is it for local authorities? I mean, it almost seems like not enough could ever be done to prevent these sort of things from happening.
There'll be an after action to find out exactly, what possibly could have been done better here, right, for this event. And every jurisdiction in America will learn from that. As far as, a local event, there is no such thing. Every major city in the U.S. who's got large-scale special events is dealing with their state, county, and federal partners before, during, and after as part of the planning. And if an event like this occurs, fortunately, if they've done their jobs right and have planned and worked together beforehand, they all come together. Well, the FBI is the lead agency in this. I can tell you that the sheriffs, the NYPD, New Orleans Police Department, and the state police are all working together, putting resources on the table and sharing information. And that's something that we need, because we need the local resources, the local knowledge. We also need the reach and technology of the FBI and the scientific and crime scene expertise that can bring into that. And then we're going to have to look at the intelligence community. If this is a group outside the U.S., NSA is going to be looking at who was this individual talking to overseas, what is going on as far as who could have radicalized, who could have supported, who could have funded this, and what any connections are that are out there.
The cops did incredible work there. I mean, they are heroes. There could have been so many more casualties, because when he rammed his vehicle through that crowd, he was shooting at the same time. He shot at 3 different cops. 2 police officers were hospitalized as a result. Had they not shot him dead right there, many more people could have been killed. They, of course, are going to probably obtain, hopefully, some digital evidence, maybe a cell phone that he left on the scene because he did not get away. Hopefully, they'll be able to glean more evidence from that. But Dan Pinsky, thank you very much for talking to us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.